Hey Hope, how you doing?
Hey, Garrett, what's going on?
I got a coffee here. I'm excited to talk to you today about our episode with Bill Poss, our usual host. But today you're taking over.
That's right. Bill got into the hot seat. I took over as host. Dogs were marrying cats. It was a whole thing. It
well,
was the upside down world, but we survived it.
this was at the little Grassy Winter Songwriter Retreat on
That's right.
Sunday morning, bright and early.
That's right.
So we all had our coffee then, and we were doing the kind of wrap up for the whole retreat. And I just wanted to get your thoughts as the head of the faculty about the retreat, first of all.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. We did have this. So we did record this podcast riding high on Sunday morning after a really great winter songwriters retreat. And I have to say, this is my fourth year that I've been involved with this retreat through Poss Music Works. And, every year it's so inspiring. It's so, we really don't, we really kind of roll up our sleeves and dig in, and people come to work. I'm really amazed at how people return year after year. We've got a lot of returning guests and participants from year to year, and they just keep getting better and better. And they are not like sitting on their laurels. They are coming with work to work on. They are hungry and interested, and we have the best discussions and feedback circles. So it was another really fantastic week of just escaping, going to the woods, hanging out with people who love song as much as we do, and talking about song, sharing song, writing song. It was a whole thing, and it was awesome.
Well, I am thrilled to hear that. And
Yeah.
when I got there, like I told Bill on the last episode, there were still people in every kind of nook and cranny across the campus
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And you just find them hovered over a pen and paper with their guitar in hand, and it was work happening everywhere you looked.
Totally. Yeah, that is really incredible. Not
Yeah.
all retreats are like that, but we have just been really blessed with this gathering that somehow brings out the desire to, find that nook, find that picnic table and get at it. And it really is amazing to see. People aren't just working on the first day. They're really taking advantage of this time for their creativity and having conversations with one another about it. It's just really, really cool to be a part of.
I love it, and I can't wait to see what songs come from it. That's the main thing. I'm sure we're going to hear them next year.
Yeah, right. That's what's so cool is that we're creating this body of work from year to year with people that bring songs and then write songs during the retreat. And that song pile just gets bigger and bigger. And what's cool is to hear the new stuff that's created between retreats. It really is a fun thing to be a part of. And Bill has put together a really fantastic group of songwriters and faculty members that just make the whole thing so cool.
Well, let's shift gears.
Yeah.
We're going to have the 5th annual retreat next year, and we'll tell you all about it when there's details.
That's right.
But today we've got Bill Poss on the show, and he usually
The one and only.
He sits in that seat that you sat in, and there it was. And we got to hear you in your host duties and prompt queens. I mean, you're no stranger to this game. So it seemed like from a producer's angle, I just wanted to thank you for being such a great host and you put your all into the hosting duties. So you're going to hear it on the podcast today. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. It was my pleasure. I love podcasts, first of all. I'm sure you do too. That's probably why we make our own to begin with. And getting a chance to, be the host and ask Bill about his work and his life in music was really awesome. Not to mention, you guys do it in front of a live audience, which actually is really, really cool. It was so fun to have a group of people there who were kind of, just bringing that energy in the room to our
Yes.
conversation. And I think you can probably feel it during the conversation and during the songs, just how alive it all is. That's a really special part of the guest list for sure.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. And we thank everybody who comes and listens live and everybody who subscribes.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
so cool. And I just want to mention, I think somebody, I don't know if it was during the taping or it was after the fact, but there were, I think Bill said 5 previous guest
yes.
list guests in the audience.
Yes.
That was amazing.
So after the weekend, that made 7 in the room at the same time.
So cool.
So cool. Yeah. I was looking around during the show counting. I'm like, this is amazing.
It was a full circle moment for you guys.
Yes, it really was. Well, before I let you go, I want to get your thoughts on Bill's music because I am around it. I play
Yeah.
bass for Bill. I'm at open mic with Bill. You know, I'm around his songs, but
Yeah.
you're a bit of a newcomer. So tell me how you thought the top 5 went.
Oh, I thought the top 5 was fantastic. And I'm familiar with some of Bill's catalog, but what I loved about this conversation is that it really just, it was kind of that 30,000 foot view where we got to see, Bill just shared about his musical journey and some of the different chapters inside that musical journey. And that was really eye opening for me because I really appreciate context and,
Right.
I mean, he's been in the game for a long time. He's got decades of music that he's lived and created from. So, of course, there are going to be natural progressions and evolutions of that creativity. And what I loved about the 5 songs that he chose is it was really an overview, kind of from his early stuff to his most recent CD that just came out with
Yeah.
LoveSeat. And I thought that was really cool for me as a listener and hopefully for all the fans who are listening too.
That's great. I agree with that sentiment because the best shows that I've been to of Bill's, whether I'm playing in a band or watching, he does that where he weaves the whole story together.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
And he's got stories, man.
he
So we could
does.
have been there for a lot longer than we were. Like just with the stuff he's experienced and just the life he's led. He's a very interesting, creative person. And it was awesome to get to talk to him.
Well, it's been awesome to get to talk to you. I want to have you back just to talk at the top of the show sometime. So,
Just say the word, Garrett. I am there, buddy.
all right. Well, everybody, this is Hope Dunbar taking over for Bill Poss, interviewing Bill Poss on today's guest list.
Welcome to the guest list, presented by Poss Music Works, a 501c3 not-for-profit bringing music and musical events to downstate Illinois. We'll talk to songwriters and learn about what makes them tick and how they came to write their most popular songs. It's where you've always wanted to be, on the guest list. Here's your host,
Hope Dunbar.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are right here where you've always wanted to be, on the guest list. My name is Hope Dunbar, sitting in for Bill Poss today, and my guest today is none other than Bill Poss himself.
Thank you.
Welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Hope.
So glad to be here. If you've never heard the show before, we're going to be asking you about your 5 most popular songs.
I've given it some thought, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great format. I thought it up myself. I know that in listener land, we've got a lot of Bill Poss fans, and they've probably been waiting for this episode to put you in the hot seat for a really long time. So I think we're really in for a great treat today to hear the 5 most popular songs.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to share about how you're feeling? How are your levels today? You feel like you got it in you to sing 5 songs?
Yeah, it's early. This is the earliest podcast we've ever recorded, and so I'm trying to manage my coffee intake.
Coffee levels,
so it doesn't get too much.
Highly necessary. In fact, before we started rolling, it was can I refill your coffee before we said green light go?
Right.
It's that kind of
important.
podcast.
Yeah.
It's important.
I've been very nervous about it, frankly.
Oh, really? Why?
Just because I go through this process every 2 weeks where I am interviewing somebody and I'm preparing for it or thinking about it afterwards, and I think, what would I do in that? So I've had like 4 years to think about it.
Okay, yeah, so no pressure whatsoever. He's got 4 years of weight hanging over his head, and I think we're going to alleviate that weight once we get going. Just so listeners know, we're just coming off a great songwriting retreat. How do you think that a songwriting retreat has you reflecting on your own songwriting journey?
Well, it's so inspiring for me to see other people who are like really on fire for the word, of the word that rhymes or that evokes an image, and I look back and think about. It causes me to reflect back on what I've done and and I broke a lot of rules, and I wasn't really trying to write songs that were going to be popular. I wanted to write songs that my family would like originally, or that kids would like and stuff. And so I kind of started in that direction, and only later came to the idea of like work.
Really?
Like working at it.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, we start for the love of the game, and then in order to keep in that game, our skill set needs to grow and our approach needs to grow, and we just need to add more tools to the toolbox, right?
Yeah, and that, and also need to keep on a song until it's done.
Totally.
That was one of the things I had to learn.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all have to learn that. Before we get started, how did you come to landing on the 5 songs we're going to hear in this podcast?
Back when I was in my prior life, when I was a touring performer, the last long stretch of gig that I had was working with Fred Eaglesmith. I was the president of the Fred Eaglesmith Traveling Steam Show, which meant that I had 18 minutes at the beginning of each show to sing 5 songs. I mean, I could sing whatever I wanted to, but it worked out. It was about 5 songs and a couple of stories. But it also meant that like I had to choose wisely, because I was, all I was getting paid was just whatever CDs I sold. And I averaged over that time 5 CDs a night for about 200 nights a year.
Wow.
And which actually is not a terrible living.
That's not too shabby.
If you're not paying a mortgage,
Yeah, right.
Which I wasn't. The idea was that I didn't get to choose which I wanted to play.
Sure.
I had to choose what people were gonna like.
What you knew was going to land.
Yeah.
That reminds me, when you mentioned Fred Eaglesmith, I think the first time that we met each other was in St. Louis at a writer's round.
You're right.
And I heard a story from you. I'd never met you before, and we were having dinner, eating chips and salsa in the restaurant next door, and you told me that you started out as Fred Eaglesmith's driver. Is that right? And then you turned into the opener? Do I have that wrong?
Not quite right.
Okay.
I was driving my then wife and child and my sister-in-law and her dog in an RV that was going the same places as Fred Eaglesmith. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was their driver. Yeah.
All right.
I was a driver.
You were a driver, just not the driver.
No, Fred drove himself.
Fred drove himself. Yeah. Of course he did. Well, this show's not about Fred Eaglesmith. This show's about Bill Poss.
Yeah.
What are you going to start out with for us today?
I'm going to start out with a song. Actually, some of the listeners may recognize sort of the framework of it, because it started out, I was on tour with Slade Cleaves and Peter Kane. This is like 2001 or something. And Slade had a brand new album called Broke Down, which I love.
Great album.
And on that album is a song called Breakfast in Hell. And I loved that song. It was right up my alley. And it was a great story song. And so I was going to learn it. And I was writing on this tour with Peter. And I was telling Peter, I'm learning that song. He's like, no, he just released that. You can't do that. And I was like, why not? And he's like, just wait, give him a year or two. And I was like, okay. So now I had this in my hands. And I was like, I can just change the rhythm up and write my own song. So his song was about this lumberjack in Canada who saves the day and then dies. My story is in Mexico, but it's also a hero story.
Okay.
Of sorts. So. Well, I ran out of gas at Eagle Pass, so close to the big brown line. All I packed was a guitar and a sack and a bottle of cheap red wine. On the corner I sat with a quarter in my hat. I was trying to make some change. She walked by with a look in her eye, and that's when things got strange. Across the street, in a crowd of feet, 2 dice rolled up 11. 2 beady eyes full of pain and lies in the car with the engine revving. In she went to the local 10-cent store. She came back out in a minute. She threw $1 in my hat, said, take a look at that. Then she walked to the car and got in it. So I looked at the note, I saw what she wrote as the car rolled across the Rio. It said, I marry a man with blood on his hands, Saturday night in Saltillo. I should have known better than to try to go get her. It was trouble made to order. But I sold my guitar, gassed up the car, and I headed straight for the border. I broke my parole the minute I rolled past the Office of Immigration. The Texas state line was a prison of mine per the rules of my probation. My dear sweet wife had lost her life in the fight to send me to jail. A cop had run in front of my gun, and the judge, he held me without bail. No job, no wife, no house, no life. I could leave and never look back. I had 24 hours to find that flower. I followed along their track. Yes, I went down to that mountain town. I parked somewhere in the middle, but churches abounded as I walked around looking for clues to that riddle. I found their car. It was parked not far from a church with a mission for the poor. The priest there said I could work for a bed, and he had me a mopping the floor. They were bringing in flowers. It was just 2 hours till the wedding bells would chime. They were bringing in chairs and tables to the square, and I was running out of time. Now when I could tell that the wedding bell was about to take its toll, the ladies in wait had met their date. She was about to take that stroll. I left the limo driver barely alive, and I pulled it up to the door. I said, this is your chance to ditch this dance, but you can't come back no more. From inside there, all they saw was her hair as she shook out the pins in the veil. She hopped in the car and we got real far. They never did catch our trail. Somewhere in the street in a crowd of feet, there's 2 dice rolling up 7 as we drive around this little coastal town looking for a place to call heaven. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. That has recently become the most popular song. I mean,
oh, really?
Yeah, it was not for, I mean, Jackrabbit was always the most popular song.
And now Heaven has taken over?
In terms of what people want to hear and ask for, yeah.
Cool. That is Heaven from your 2011 record, Hey.
Well, I was recorded twice.
Oh, it was originally twice.
It was originally released on Jackrabbit and Other Love Songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with a full band. The Hey record was just me and a guitar and one microphone.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. All right, cool. 2 for 1. You got 2 versions of that song out in the world, not to mention when you're live and in person. So is this song about your time as a fugitive in Mexico? And tell me about that.
It's a hero story.
Where'd the story come from?
I got a round trip ticket from Chicago to London for $190. And so I had nothing to do. So I drove across the country to Chicago And then I flew to London, and I made my way to Amsterdam, where my friend picked me up. And this song was like all I could think about. And I hadn't written any words yet. And I was just playing the music. I was like, what is this song about? And the guy that picked me up took me to his house. He just rented a house in Germany. And he said, I don't have enough room for my beer. I'm going to go buy a refrigerator. Do you want to help me? And I said, no, I have to write this song. So I sat at his kitchen table, for 12 hours. And he was walking out the door. And I said, wait, before you go, I played that music. And I said, what does that sound like? And he said, it sounds like a beautiful Mexican woman.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay. Come back in 12 hours.
All right.
Anyway, it was like 3 a.m. when I finished the song.
I mean, this song is so rich in so many things. Obviously, it's a beautiful, magnificent example of a story song, which is a really hard thing to do, to have a beginning, middle, and end of a caper all in one song. And you've got some amazing imagery, and what I've noticed the most, because it speaks to my own beautiful heart, is your love for internal rhyme. You've got a lot of rhyme, a lot of play on words and internal rhyme. Is that something that you just naturally drawn toward, or is that something that you really needed to work on for this song?
Well, Slade had it in his song, so that's naturally, truthfully, that's naturally where I went, but I would warn people that that's a dangerous road to go down. If you're wanting to write a song right now, internal rhyme can trip you up. It's hard to do over and over and over and over.
It is, and you maintain it from top to bottom. Like, you do not abandon the internal rhyme program in this song ever. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you. That was the hardest. Like when I said I had to learn how to work on songs, that was part of that process. Like that song, sitting there and not giving it, like wrestling it down.
Wow.
And I thought it would change after I finished it. Like I was just filling some parts in. Like that'll change over time. I'll figure out a better way to say that, but I didn't.
Was it pretty well done after that, in that 12-hour period?
I never changed it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unique. That's really cool.
For me especially, I toy with songs afterwards.
Yeah. What a cool backstory behind a song, to find out that first Slave Cleaves song was the inspiration, and you didn't write it about your own experience with running from the law south of the border, but that you were in a buddy's apartment in Germany because of a cheap ticket you bought to England.
Yeah.
Super weird, man. I don't hear any of that in the song, actually.
Good. I'm glad. That would
cool.
be bad if you did.
So it worked. It totally worked.
I was spending a lot of time. I lived in Austin at that time,
yeah.
And so I was going down to the border quite a bit, and had spent a lot of time crossing over into Mexico.
Cool.
I was not on the lam or anything. I was
sure.
buying tacos
legally, right? Yeah. Buying tacos.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So that was the imagery was fresh in my mind, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I guess if you were based in Texas at the time, you've got a lot of imagery built in from the Southwest. Very cool. All right. Yeah. What do you got for us next, Bill Pass?
Next I have, I would say, undoubtedly my most popular song, which is called Jackrabbit. And it's, I was telling Hope before we started that she did the podcast yesterday and I'm doing it today. We don't get to, like most podcast guests, after our podcast recording, get to go play a whole other set of just stuff you want to do, right?
Yeah.
This is the song I really want you to hear. But there's no doubt that this is I gotta include this one. And I like the song. It's just, I've played it a lot of times.
I believe it. And we want to hear it one more time. I'm sure everyone wants to hear it again. Am I right?
I had a dog. His name was Jackrabbit. Throw him a stick, throw him a bone, he'd jump right up and grab it. Run like the wind, jump like a deer, there you have it. The best dang dog a man ever had. His name was Jackrabbit. My dear wife named Big Nellie, she'd laugh so hard she'd shake like jelly, and she'd send Jackrabbit to the grocery store with $1 in his collar and sometimes more. Well, I had a dog, it's early. His name was Jackrabbit. Throw him a stick, throw him a bone, he'd jump right up and grab it. Run like the wind, jump like a deer, there you have it. best dang dog a man ever had. His name was Jack Rabbit. Well, you see a rabbit run, say, get him, Jack. You count to 10 and he'd bring it on back. He could run a dead sprint through a hollow log. He was half blue heeler and a half pound dog. Well, I had a dog. His name was Jack Rabbit. Throw him a stick, throw him a bone. He'd jump right up and grab it. Woof! Run like the wind, jump like a deer. There you have it. The best dang dog a man ever had. His name was Jack Rabbit. Well, my first boy we named Red Jimmy. He'd throw up his stick and say, jump Jack, gimme. And that dog would grab it out of the air. He took first place at the county fair. Well, I had a dog. His name was Jack Rabbit. Throw him a stick, throw him a bone. He'd jump right up and grab it. Woof! Run like the wind, jump like a deer. There you have it. The best dang dog a man ever had. His name was Jack, the best old dog a man ever had. Oh, his name was Jack, the best darn dog a man ever had. His name was Jack Rabbit. Oh.
That was Jack Rabbit, everybody. Never gets old, always feels fresh.
Yeah, it's one of those songs I don't remember writing.
Really?
I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you asked
Truly.
me yesterday about like songs just kind of falling out of the sky or appearing. Is that how you describe that writing process? Just kind of showed up one day?
Like, I don't remember. I don't know.
Like, were you
I don't
drunk or high?
I mean, it would not have been out of the ordinary for me to be drunk at that time.
Okay.
But I don't think I was.
Interesting.
I don't think I was. I just think I was writing songs all the time.
Yeah.
And I kind of fooled with, like, I remember kind of maybe fooling with the guitar parts while I was singing it, and but those chord changes, there's a lot of chord changes in that song. And being like, this is pretty good, I like this. And then I took it to the Pearl Street Mall in Boulder where I was busking, and I sitting there trying to read it off the ground, you know. And this fiddle player came over and he was like, hey, that's pretty good. Can I play along? And so he played along. He said, let's do that one again. And meanwhile, there's people standing around. I'm like, let's do some other stuff. He's like, no, let's do this one again. And I was like,
Really?
That's when I started thinking, oh, this song really is as good as it feels to me.
Wow.
And I don't know why. And I don't know why. Still don't.
So did it surprise you when that became your hit?
No. By the time I started playing it out in shows, I was like, "Oh, you're gonna like this song." You know, I knew.
You just
that.
knew it landed.
And then when my dad started playing banjo on it, it became a bluegrass song. And,
wow!
And that's how we recorded it. Yeah. And then this DJ in Effingham was like, "Man, that's really good." And I was like, "Cool, yeah." And I was taking any praise I could get, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, "I think you should take this to Nashville." It's like, it's not really like the songs that they're recording in Nashville right now. He's like, it doesn't matter. It's a good song. So he started playing it on the radio. And then citizens of the world started buying the record from the radio station. And
Really?
it was really wild, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it had a great run in Effingham, Illinois.
Very cool.
Yeah, kids love it. If you don't want to hear that song a whole bunch of times, don't play that for your 7-year-old. Telling you right now. Or your 4-year-old.
That's awesome. Well, I want to ask you, since we're 2 songs in and we've got our sea legs on this podcast episode, so the question all songwriters dread being asked, but you can handle it. How would you describe your genre? What would you call the kind of music you write?
I've called it many times. Bluegrass-inflected Americana music.
Bluegrass-inflected Americana music. Let's recognize how quickly he had an answer to that. I'm usually stymied and stunted. That right there makes you a full-on pro. He knows the answer to the unanswerable question.
Well, it really is the John Prine School.
Yeah.
And then that's the answer. But since some people don't know what that means.
Yeah, which takes me to my next question. You've mentioned Slade Cleaves was an influence on your music. Whatever some other early influences that really inspired you to think, what do I want to write and how do I want to sound?
Well, John Prine was the reason I started playing music.
Really?
I was in law school at the University of Illinois, and my dad was super busy running a truck farm. And
A truck farm?
yeah, he had an organic farm market.
So he wasn't planting and growing trucks. Stupid. He asked me to do this job just so that you know.
So he would call it a truck farm. But anyway.
I think I understand. Sorry, stupid.
Actually, funny story. The farm market was what inspired me to write my first song.
Really?
Mm-hmm. My dad had this thing, and I was looking for subject matter, and I told him he needed a theme song.
Cool.
So I wrote him a theme song for. He hated it at first, at least. He didn't like it. So my dad had always been talking about John Prine, and I was like, I didn't get that. I was into Billy Joel, and I started getting into the Indigo Girls, and that kind of led me to have ears for folk music and stuff. And so when Bonnie Raitt came to Champaign, she was a superstar at this time, and she had John Prine opening for her. And so I called my dad and I said, "You're not going to believe this. John Prine's coming. She's opening for Bonnie Raitt." And I couldn't get him to do anything because he was like working 12, 16-hour days. And he's like, "Buy tickets. I'll pay you back." And so he came, and I went and got Prine, and I listened to it a few times before the show. And by the end of it, I was like, "Dad, will you show me how to play the guitar like that? Because it seemed pretty easy."
Yeah.
Like what he does.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he's not doing backflips.
no, absolutely.
No, he's just straight up.
Yeah. So my dad taught me how to play the guitar the next weekend, and by the following weekend, I was singing songs. And
Wow.
I was in love with it. I was on fire with it.
On fire with it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's John Prine. From a songwriting perspective, I think Steve Earle is doing it. Did it as well as anybody ever did it. And Tom Russell is probably one of my personal heroes. And Willie Nelson does it. I've tried to do it a little bit like Willie, but I'd love to take notes on things that people don't tend to give him credit for, like melody, timing.
Yeah.
Things like ridiculous.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
And of course, I listened to a ton of Bob Dylan because you can go through like 5 phases of that. And
Yeah,
still
his
not be
catalog
done.
is so varied and so diverse. You can latch on to Dylan in so many different ways.
Yeah. Other people who I've gotten permission from are Roger Miller, Tom T. Hall.
Yeah.
Loudon Wainwright.
Yeah.
Yeah, love those guys. That's the kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good. Well, one of the things that I wrote down that I wanted to mention is that it's really. I find it really wonderful when there's a bit of a wink and a smile behind the song. You're not taking yourself too seriously. You sound playful. Your songs come across playful. I mean, they're honest and true and really well written with kind of a wink and a smile. And I think that is a really fresh thing that audiences naturally are drawn to. So it doesn't surprise me that like Roger Miller would be somebody that would be in your back catalog of people that you were listening to or influenced by. Any newer songwriters? I mean, you're a lifer, so you've been in the game for a while. Any new people come, like, kind of bubble up to the surface in more recent years that have surprised you or had you thinking about music differently?
John Fulbright comes right to mind. John is, he's like ridiculously talented, but just like from an early age. We were talking a little bit in Earpod about your song about women like me, and he was one of those people who at 21 was writing songs like a grizzled veteran.
Yeah,
and it pissed me off. I mean, it really truly did kind of piss me off a little bit when Greg Johnson at the Blue Door played that for me and for Fred, and we were both like, "Give us his address. We're going to kill him."
Yeah. Yeah, what I say, me and my sister-in-law, whenever we hear somebody who we'd like to kick their ass because they're so good, we shake our fists and we say, "Save some for the rest of us." Not fair.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful thing to be enraged because the songs are so good. That's a pretty good thing to have happen.
Yeah. Other people, I raved to you last night about your album. What's it? I was just raving about it.
Sweetheart Land. Thank you.
And that was one of the recent ones. I was like, people are still doing the really good thing. I'm blanking on names now.
Well, that's cool. Well, it's your show. I mean, forget those other people. This is the Bill Poss Hour. Yeah. Speaking of Bill Poss, what would you like to play for us next?
Well, those songs that I played were by far the most popular songs at the time that I was like touring, and I played them every night for 200 nights a year.
Wow.
Along with a couple others. But when I left the Fred Eaglesmith show, that it was sort of it was a very complicated experience because I was also getting divorced, and that was so. I say that only to bring up the fact that my songwriting kind of changed a little bit.
Okay.
And this next song is the first song, I think, that really encapsulates that feeling of like writing from the heart in a way that I hadn't known how to do. And I was afraid. I think I was afraid to do it, like this really. And that's one of the things I see people doing at the retreat that I'm just like, you are doing. Right away, you're doing the hard stuff, and keeping us, putting those words down and moving them around. You can never really express how you feel, but man, the closer you get, the better you're doing. So this is the song. It's not really autobiographical, but it's metaphor, But it's I think it gets it across.
Walk together, I thought we'd walk forever, along the ridge lines through the glades. It was hard, but we pressed on, looking for a hill to rest on. I trusted, I never was afraid, but now it's hard to look around with my head hanging down, tears are rolling down my cheek. I hope the fish aren't bothered by a little salt water, 'cause I'm sitting here crying in the creek. We came to a wall so wide and so tall, and you took the hand of a man from above. I waited around for your hand to swing down, but that was the last I saw of love. And now it's hard to look around with my head hanging down, and tears rolling down my cheek. I hope the fish aren't bothered by a little salt water, 'cause I'm sitting here crying in the creek. I think of all the paths I might have taken. They all lead me to you. I think of the path we chose together. I hang my head and I weep, but I can't cry away these blues. Well, I could sit here all day thinking about the ways we might have found a different road to hoe. But I've got work to do and miles to travel to. I'll shoulder my pack and hit the road. And now it's hard to look around with my head hanging down and tears rolling down my cheek. I hope the fish aren't bothered by a little salt water, 'cause I'm sitting here crying in the creek. I'm sitting here crying in the creek.
Yeah. Crying in the Creek. Great song.
Well, what would an episode with Bill Poss be without a little information on this year's Moccasin Creek Festival?
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day, Garrett.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm feeling lucky.
The Stitch Givers will be at Moccasin Creek Festival this year for the very first time.
Oh, my goodness.
That's my family's Irish band, which is like a 10-piece Irish band.
Always a great time.
Going to close it out on Sunday, close the whole festival out. We have Rodney frickin' Crowell coming on Friday night to headline. Wow. We have Nick Shoulders on Saturday night.
That's a great get.
Yeah, and some great returns. Chicago Farmer in the Field Notes always brings the party. We have Alex Taylor All-Stars. That's Alex Taylor from Chain Station. He's going to put together a band of all-stars for the show.
Got Otis Gibbs.
Otis Gibbs. People are so excited about Otis Gibbs.
Yes, they are.
I was not aware of Otis Gibbs. I mean, his name had been kind of circling around, but I had not actually checked him out, and he is a hoot.
You've got Chicago Farmer in the Field Notes, The Mighty Pines, Taylor Steele and the Love Preachers,
Jess Klein,
Shanna in a Dress, Terry Klein,
Hope Dunbar.
All the guest list all-stars you could want on one lineup. You got Jacob Coons.
Yeah.
And
Birthday Cake. Have you heard about Birthday Cake?
I've seen Birthday Cake on this poster. What does this mean exactly?
Birthday Cake. My son has put together a band. And it's going to be 6 songs by the band Cake to celebrate my birthday.
Wow.
Is that fun or what?
I had no idea that's what that meant.
That's what that is.
Well, that's fantastic.
Because people love cake.
They do, and they love you.
I hope so.
And they love Blue.
It's my 60th birthday coming up. Yeah, and Blue gets to be an all-star for a minute.
I love this. Okay, well, check out Moccasin Creek Festival. When is it again?
June 18th through the 21st.
And that's at Lake Sarah right here in Effingham, Illinois. It's going to be a great time. You get tickets at moccasincreekfestival.com. And we want to invite you to a couple other things coming up. We've got Chicago Farmer in the Field Notes here at the Effingham VFW on April 17th for the homemade record release party.
Yes, and we also have Robbie Folks coming in August. So check out the website for those details and tickets. You can get it in advance. It's a very rare ticketed event for the guest list.
Just announced we have a very exciting upcoming guest on the podcast. We've got Mark Stewart as our next episode, and then the episode following that is Mr. Caleb Cottle.
Caleb's great. He was at Moccasin Creek Festival a few years ago, and we're talking to him about some maybe possible future things.
Yeah, he's got a little niche around here. People really like that guy.
Yeah, but he's very good.
Yeah,
he's very good. I remember watching him open for Hayes Carl in Chicago, and I was like, this guy's great.
Well, look forward to some upcoming episodes of the podcast to finish out season 3.
Hey, we should save the date for Summer Sundown. When's that?
September 11th, 12th, and 13th, and we'll be announcing the first wave of the lineup for Summer Sundown coming up soon. And we're in the middle of festival announce season, and everybody's doing cool stuff. We're excited to get ours out there as well.
I'm working on the little Grassy Get Down lineup right now. Haven't booked anybody yet except for Woodbox Gangs.
Well, it's going to be a fun experience getting that thing going too. Guys, we've got a ton of stuff going on at PossMusicWorks.com. We've got a summer series this year to tell you all about in future episodes. For now, let's get back to the man with the plan, Bill Poss, on the guest list.
I love this guy. JJ Passalacqua.
Hi, everybody.
I was making lists of basically picked about 10 songs, and I was trying to figure out, there's Hay for Sale and all these other ones that people do ask for. But really, this has become one of the most requested songs. And if JJ's in the room, we almost always play it. So this is a LoveSeat song. JJ and I wrote it, a duet.
As I crossed the room, I spied an old picture of me. It was on my wife's dresser from 1993. I was young and strong, and I still had hair on my head. Then I took a look in the mirror, and here's what I said. She's in love with the old me, the young colt who was so free, holding life like a pearl, not a care in the world, and nothing to lose. Now she lives with an old man, with a bent back and rough hands. I've slackened my pace, grown lines on my face, singing yesterday's blues.
As I clean out the junk drawer, I spied an old letter I sent back when we were just dating, before all my youth had been spent. with passionate phrases, my heart overruling my head. Well, I took a long look in the mirror, and here's what I said. He's in love with the old me, full of dreams and a size 3, playing music full blast in my car, flying fast, and nothing to lose. I may be an old lady, but he still calls me baby. I've slackened my pace, grown lines on my face, singing yesterday's blues. Strength is not muscle, and wisdom is not what you know.
And there's nothing like living for getting you ready to go.
But until that time comes and I've reached the end of my days,
I'll be holding your hand and holding what's left of your gaze. I'm no longer a young man,
but now you're a top hand. You've run a good race, grown tired of the chase, no tread on your shoes.
you're no longer a new bride.
But I'm right here by your side, our feet in the sand, holding each other's hands with plenty to lose. And in the end it is so true, I'm in love with the old you, still my shining star, just the way that you are. I don't want nothing new. Still my shining star, just the way that you are. I don't want nothing new.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Love that song. You mentioned before you played Crying in the Creek that life had kind of changed, and so your writing kind of changed. And it reminds me of what we talk about in the songwriting retreat, right? Like your next song won't necessarily be the same as your last song, that you're going to have to allow yourself to change and grow. And on behalf of all listeners, I want to say thank you that you allowed yourself to change and grow, because there was really a beautiful quietness and depth to your heart that maybe a younger man's song was still running and feeling invincible, and then it becomes extremely, you keep all of the joy and like the wink and the playfulness, and yet you walk into a quieter depth that I think just resonates on a whole different level. You can be playful and fun and do the dog song, and then you can really remind everybody what human life is like when you're crying in the creek. It's beautiful.
Well,
so
you.
It's still Bill Poss, just Bill Poss is 2.0, and I think we can all say thank you. One of the lines that I absolutely love about the old me is, strength is not muscle, and wisdom is not what you know. I think that's such a great line.
Thank you.
Tell me about the writing process for that one.
I literally was walking across the bedroom, and I saw a picture that JJ had on her bedside table of me playing guitar at Flipnotics. It was from 1997 or so, but it rhymes easier with 93.
Right, much better rhyme, 93.
Don't let this truth get in the way of a good
Exactly,
story.
do not.
So anyway, but I was like, and I thought that to myself, oh man, she's in love with the old me. At first, actually, I didn't recognize me in the picture. I mean, like I was from a distance, and I was like, she had a picture of by her bed. I was like, oh. That's kind of cool.
Who's that fox that she's staring at in the photograph? It's you.
So I was like, oh man, she's in love with the old me. And I thought, oh fuck, that's just did it itself right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so I wrote that down, and I actually wrote the first verse, I think, before JJ even got home. And Garrett actually was at our house the very day we were writing it. Our producer Garrett Burris happened. There were several people there, and he said, this is really good. You should work on this. And we talked about the possibility of turning it around at the end, which happens. It's a country classic.
It lands so
move.
well. You use that device so well in this song.
That it was like a beaming bright sunbeam coming down to us. Like, oh yeah, that's going to be awesome. Let's do that.
That's so great.
And people love that song. Again, civilians. And we were just recently invited to come to somebody's 30th or 50th wedding anniversary, and
wow,
we sang that song for them.
That's amazing. I mean, I would argue that it is one of those songs that is climbing the charts of most popular Bill Poss songs. Well, in this case, LoveSeat songs, because it lands every time. Everybody understands what you're singing about, and you give us this vignette that's 3.5 minutes of like 35 years of life, and that is what really masterful songs do. Sometimes masterful songs keep you in one place for 3 minutes, and some people give you a whole novel in 3 minutes. I think this is an example of one of those novel songs, where there's a lot of story behind. Like, there's just so much meat on that bone. Well done.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. As the song does get, like I said, the reaction has been amazing.
It kicks ass.
Instant.
100%. Yeah. Thankfully, I've been in the room when it's happened, and it works every time.
Yeah. Thanks. We had an album that came out last year, LoveSeat, Our Way, and that song is, I think, the first song on the record. And they've been playing it on the radio in Effingham, and that's how people know it. And it's a weird thing getting a song on the radio.
It is.
It's like no other medium seems to have. I mean, maybe TikTok does nowadays. I don't know. Never had that personal experience, but like suddenly people are hearing the song. And I said how I've talked at this retreat a few times about how hard it is to get anybody to listen to anything, especially a song they've never heard of by a band they've never heard of, right?
Yeah.
So, but when they play it on the radio, people are just sitting at their desks working or walking around the house. I don't know.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, they're listening to that song.
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, we live in an age where, the invisible, like, chill playlist is what people are putting on for background music. It's intentionally meant for cooking at 5 p.m. playlist, so that you don't actually have to dial into anything that you're listening to. You just have this din in the background that as you chop onions. What's great about local radio, folk radio in general, is you have a listening audience that's interested in getting surprised, that's interested in finding something they haven't heard before. And it is hard in a world of I like what I like, finding listenership that is interested in finding what they haven't heard yet is a really wonderful thing, and local radio, folk radio, is still very much a champion of that cause. So very cool.
Yeah, I joked a little bit when you asked me a question at the panel on Friday. I joked that I did this because I didn't want to do anything else, and I'm afraid I was afraid that that was a little too glib, and like what I meant was I wanted to do this, yes. But I also wanted to fuck off. I wanted to go drive around the country and just not have any responsibilities, not have any mortgage or rent payment. I just wanted to be able to go tramp around. And the only way I could figure out to do that, where I could actually still make money, was to play my guitar and sing songs. And so I did that. And then I wasn't very good when I started. I mean, I was truly wasn't very good at it. And I worked pretty hard to get to where people would actually pay me to play.
Wow.
But I wanted to, that's a weird journey, I think. Most people most songwriters, I think, don't come from that perspective, which I think is unusual.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think most people do it for that reason.
What, just hitting the road and being free?
Most people don't have the luxury of doing that.
Well, that's true. It's harder and harder to accept that invitation to just go out and figure it out as you're out there. The world's become a little more complicated and more expensive.
Yeah,
With cell phone plans. Should we talk about cell phone plans now, Bill? No, let's not.
Let's talk about hobos.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is it's no secret to listeners is that you've expanded your artistic universe, not just for yourself, but for the people you have created community around. So you're not just a singer-songwriter and a music creator. You're also a music maker and producer for lots of other people and benefiting your community of Effingham and the greater Southern Illinois area, especially with the stuff you do to bring in artists. How did that come about for you?
Well, I told the story earlier about how I was left the band and I got divorced all at once. I moved back to Effingham, where I grew up, Effingham, Illinois. And I'd been gone for 20 years. And I came back and I was living in my mom's house with her. And I had no job and I had no prospects. And I thought, I should get a job or something.
Or whatever.
And I'm not sure how long my mom's going to let me live here. No, that's not what I thought. But I was just like, what am I going to do with myself?
Yeah.
And it was October of 2013. And I'd been driving around playing these festivals and going to festivals just as a patron, like Winfield, Walnut Valley Bluegrass Festival in Winfield. But Kerrville was a big one for me.
Huge.
But as part of the band, we also played like dozens and dozens of different festivals. And I kept looking around thinking, I would love to do this. And I don't know why I always think I have to do the thing that I love, like for money, or make it my job all of a sudden. But I did, and I thought, I know a bunch of people that would just like take my word for it, So I called up Robbie Folks, Fred Eaglesmith, of course, and but Robbie Folks, and I basically said, look, I may not be able to pay you on the day of the event, but I will pay you eventually, and here's what I can pay you. And I gave him a number or whatever. We ended up roping in Lucas Nelson, who I knew a little bit, but not mostly through my son Blue, which is weird because he was like 5. Has to do with a cruise. I know it's weird, but it's like we were on a cruise together, and they became pals. And so, so Lucas Nelson played the very first festival, and the Bottle Rockets, I think, were the only ones where we actually had a contract, and I had to pay them. So anyway, I did it kind of on a whim, frankly, and I started planning for the festival in October, and it happened in June. So, and I had no staff.
Wow.
I mean, people helped me. People volunteered, and so that was the beginning. That's how it started, and then we started other festivals, and a couple of them failed, and then some of them didn't, and we started a not-for-profit and started having shows. Trying to bring the art to us.
Yeah.
I don't want people to have, I think people would discover art. I have been somewhat wrong about this, just for the record. I figured people would enjoy art more locally if they didn't have to drive to St. Louis for it, or Champaign for it.
Yeah.
Most people still don't want to come. I don't know why. We talked about that this morning. But,
I think right now, just culturally, my 2 cents, and I could be dead wrong. Please write into the show and tell me how wrong I am. I won't be here. Bill will read the email.
I'll read them on the.
But I think we're in a cultural moment of, again, like repetition and sameness. We like what we like. The same TikTok videos get fed to us every 3 months in a cycle. The same songs get fed to us every 3 months in a cycle. We really have not exercised our newness discovery muscles very much, unless it's like a 30-second ridiculous video of some kid on a skateboard into a pile of Jell-O or something. Like, that's our only new thing we like. But songs are a different beast, and like I've talked about in folk music, it takes a special listener to want to come to a show and hear people they haven't heard before. There was a time when that was the brand. Yeah. Music was being sought out to hear something that surprised you and made you like kind of get out of your normal sense of routine.
And I probably sounded cynical when I said all that about being wrong, which I don't mind being wrong, but I want to learn, right?
Yeah, totally.
But what happened too is that people started coming to Effingham from Champaign and St. Louis, and like it's weird, right? But because I kind of invented it for the opposite reason. But they still, and people are traveling to come to the Starlight Listening Room from 20, 30 miles away, a lot of them.
That's very cool.
And they're bringing a side dish, and we're having a good time.
That's awesome.
I was in the breathwork session on Friday that Sandra Otten so generously volunteers to do. And I was thinking because a lot can go through your brain while you're doing that. You kind of get hyperactive in your brain a little bit because there's so much vibration. And I was thinking about there's going to be a time where people are going to want to do stuff like that, or
for sure.
this, or write the song, or listen to the song, or there's going to be a backlash, is what I'm trying to say.
I think too. I think everything's a pendulum swing. So I think we'll be swinging somewhere else soon, hopefully. I know people here who've got the Bill Pass bug. Sometimes the 5 most popular songs are not necessarily the exact same list as the songwriter's 5 most favorite songs. So just out of curiosity, because people are going to want to go and listen to your catalog, just out of curiosity, what are your 5 favorite songs besides these ones? Or they doesn't have to be 5. Give me the songs you're most proud of or that you like the most.
That Crossroads. I'm not going to sing that. It's a song I wrote with Slade Cleaves about where the Starlight Listening Room was my grandparents' old house, and it's a story that didn't take, actually, it was inspired by events there. That's one that people do like a lot. It was on the list of possible songs. Hay for Sale, it could certainly be in my top 5, but it's a song that it's a silly song about farming.
Truck farming?
Hay farming.
Okay.
With trucks.
So it's a twofer.
Yeah, that's a song that people definitely love to sing along to, and I enjoy singing it, and I've enjoyed it since I wrote it. There's a song called Chin Up that nobody likes, evidently. But it's a song about a veteran whose son is at war, and it's a letter from the veteran to the soldier. And it's like 7 minutes of me just talking.
Cool.
And you should have seen the engineer while I was recording the guitar parts. He was like, "What are you doing?" Anyway, so you can hear the song.
All
if you
right,
want to
take a
hear
listen to those. Take a listen to those after you're finished listening to this podcast.
There were songs. Can I answer a question you didn't ask?
Yeah.
I wrote songs that I thought would be extremely popular and were not.
Yeah.
And like 1 step forward and 2 steps back. I thought I had a hit on my
gonna be the
hands.
hit.
Yeah, and nobody ever asked for that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as an example.
No, happens. I have songs I thought were going to be the hits, and they were definitely not the hits. Also, I can completely relate.
I wrote a song called "Both My Girlfriends Have the Same Last Name," and everybody hates that song. I mean, my mom, my wife, everybody hates that song. Like, don't play that song. Okay. All the guys laugh when I play it, but
So I know you got one more song to play. I have one more question to ask. Do I ask it before the song or after the song?
Yeah, ask it now.
Okay. Before we head out with one more Bill Pass song, and you guys all go obsessively listen to all of his songs on the interweb. Hey, Bill, what do you think happens to us when we die?
Well, the glib answer that I would give is, or the answer I would have truly given 10 years ago would be, you know what it's like before you were born? Kind of like that. And that's not I borrowed that from somebody along the way. But that's the easy answer, I think. It's hard to accept, but it's easy to give. But no, I think I don't know is the answer that is the truth. And I think anybody who tells you that they do know what happens is being hopeful and aspirational, and it's partly because they love being alive that they don't want to not be alive, and so they can't imagine. They will accept some explanation of what's going to happen, even if it's just made up. And that doesn't mean that it's not true. I just am saying they don't know, and nobody knows, and I don't know. So I don't know.
Yeah, we were wired for life, so. Hence songwriting. I think it's a testimony to living.
It's funny how much people love being alive who are actually really miserable.
And life
fight
comes
for
in many ways,
you know?
shape, or form, but we've got this thing that wants to keep us alive. The human stomach is a miraculous thing. There's all kinds of stuff you can eat and stay alive. It's true.
Yes, like the soul.
That's right, exactly.
Soul.
All right, buddy. What are you going to take us out on tonight? Today?
This is going to be hard. I should have thought about the fact that I was singing this at 10 in the morning. But this is a song. One of the fun questions is, how did you decide what your most popular songs are?
Yeah.
And this is a song that is people like when I sing it, and I've recorded it a couple times. But there's a band that covered the song, and that's why it's popular.
Oh, cool.
It's not. I mean, like not in the world popular, but when I look at my BMI royalties, this song has the most plays. And I'm like, there's a song that I co-wrote with Elizabeth McQueen that I've never sung in my whole life. That's in the top 3 or 4, called "The Oldest Story Ever Told." It's a beautiful song. I should learn it, but it's like, it was in a show called The Coroner in Canada, and so it's like a TV thing, you know.
Cool.
So weird, but anyway, this song it is one of my favorite songs, and it's a song about a breakup song where you're broken up and you're not sure what's going to happen next. Like, are you broken up for good, or are you just taking a break? And
Tell me, are you scared like me? Frightened, is it a cross to bear or a load lightened? I feel both of these. The break and the crutch. Hobbled by fear and taking too much. It's a long way home and I'm not ready. I don't even know which way to go. You going your way and me going mine. Maybe they're the same, but right now we just don't know. Well, we're flying down the road too fast for gravel, waiting for the tires to unravel. Your foot dances back between the brake, the clutch. You're shifting in your seat and you're talking too much. It's a long way home and I'm not ready. I don't even know which way to go. You going your way and me going mine. Maybe they're the same, but right now we just don't know. Well, feathers fly around the old man's farm. A rooster screams out of a broken down barn. A smashed fence, tire tracks, a beak, a cluck. A farmer on his tractor is watching your truck. It's a long way home and I'm not ready. I don't even know which way to go. You going your way and me going mine. Maybe they're the same, but right now we just don't know. Yeah, we're flying down the road too fast for gravel, waiting for the tires to unravel. Your foot dances back between the brake, the clutch. You're shifting in your seat and you're talking too much. It's a long way home and I'm not ready. I don't even know which way to go. You going your way and me going mine. Maybe they're the same, but right now we just don't know.
Yeah, that was Bill Poss, everyone.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And before we go, I just wanted to say that our latest episodes and the podcast in general is doing great lately. And we want to thank all our new subscribers. And man, we've turned it up a notch this season, and thank you, everybody.
We're fully engaged in some of this stuff. I feel like we really broke through to a new level, starting about. Not just an artist, but just the way we're making it, and the artists have been great, and
the new room is great.
Yeah, the new room is comfy, and people seem to really enjoy that. But if you can subscribe, like, share, all that stuff, we sure rate us.
Sure. The last few episodes of the podcast have been our most listened to in over a year.
Yeah. Aaron Lee Tashian,
Chloe Kimes, and Shanna in Address, and Justin Rose, they are really taking off. So a lot of that is credit to the artist and their fans checking us out. But we'd like to think that our hardy subscribers are growing a little bit at a time every week, and you can make that happen. Just share the episode on your socials feed or tell a friend about the guest list presented by Poss Music Works. Wouldn't that be great if everybody told 2 friends?
That would be super. That's all we need.
Hey folks, thank you for listening to Bill Poss on today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time with Mark Stewart. Bye.